Welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast. It's time to review Week 6 of Building Winners and see how things went, and also prep a little bit for Week 7 and see what is ahead for me in my 3 leagues. So I went 2 for 1, no sweep jacket, unfortunately. Had a close matchup, and then another one that just kind of, I honestly got crushed. But the person was incredible and had the week of their lives, and I'll take that any day of the week. So let's move in first to ECFHL and take a look at how the Keeper League went. If you remember, that one was second place versus third place at the time. And I had a pretty, it went worse than I thought. So it ended 6-2, which is good for me, but with the caveat that I expected to do better here. I expected to take blocks, and I lost by 2, which was really disappointing, especially considering that I had 58 starts to their 52 starts. I thought blocks were almost a given. So I'm pretty disappointed in the fact that I didn't get blocks, given how close, how many more starts I had. Like, that shouldn't have been how it ended, in my opinion. I think that should have been better. And that's on me. Like, I think I should have recognized that and picked up somebody who blocked instead of someone like Justin Schultz. I should have dumped Schultz and picked up someone that blocked, because their blocks weren't that high to which I couldn't catch them. And I probably should have recognized that at some point in the middle of the week, but I didn't. I think my mistake there was just I didn't have any defensemen going, and I didn't recognize that early enough. That was sort of the problem, but that's okay. My goaltenders were unreal, 9-4-8, 3 wins. We tied on wins. Would have liked to take that, but Robin Leonard had a ridiculous 57 shot against Knight, and got the W and still got a 9-3-0. It wasn't enough for him to catch me in save percentage, of course, but made saves absolutely impossible. And this next week, I think saves will also be pretty tough, considering that Vasilevsky only has 2 games, and Hellebuck, I think, only has 3, so that won't be great for me. As for performances of my team did as good as you could have expected. The MVP of the week, even though Connor McDavid went off, is Patrick Kane, the person that a lot of people have been complaining about to some extent, and we've been hearing along the likes of Kucherov. Where's this guy? What is he doing? He went off this week. 4 goals, 4 assists, 3 power play points, 14 shots on goal, 4 hits and 1 block. Love that man. I'm glad I kept him. And he's now up to 42nd in the league. He is on a, 6-game point streak, and a lot of points across that, and now he's killing it. I know some people got to buy low on him, based on things people said, and of course Connor McDavid had a ridiculous hat trick last night, which helped me kind of secure the goals here. But I'm happy with how my team did. First in shots on goal, first in assists, first in power play points. And if we take a look at the actual team stats, how we're doing in the league in general, middle of the pack in goals, towards the top in assists, not far from the best of the best, actually. If we look at power play points, I'm only 4 off the top. I had a bad power play point performance this week, I think, but I'm still towards the top. When it comes to shots on goal, honestly, I'm like solidly 4th or 3rd in pretty much everything. Like, I'm across the board kind of balanced. Blocks are really where I get just crushed. As for goaltenders, I'm top of the league in wins, tied with the person I played this week, this past week. So that makes sense that we tied in wins, given we're tied in overall wins as well. From a saves perspective, I'm falling down, but that makes sense given that I traded away Markstrom. And then in save percentage, I'm towards the top of the league, which makes sense given that I have Hellebuck and Vasilevsky. So the only move I made for this week so far is that I dropped Justin Schultz, like I talked about on yesterday's episode. Dropped Justin Schultz and ended up picking up Jacob Chychrun. Only had to spend $2 there, or $1 there. I thought people wouldn't really be out on him. Someone bid 0 and I bid 1, so I ended up getting him, which was nice. So I'm excited to have Jacob Chychrun this week. Hopefully he keeps that top power play while I have him and he continues to shoot like this, because that would be really, really nice. And other than that, didn't make any other moves. As for this matchup of the week, it's 8th versus 3rd. It's not that big of a difference of 8 and 3rd. If we look at 8 and 3 here, 8, I am no Domi's 42 points. I'm 56 points. So it's not terribly far off, but it's close. And then if we take a look at just the team stats and how they're doing, what I need to prep versus them. So against I am no Domi. So I am no Domi is down here in goals. They are 52. So here, let's highlight them. Oh, can I do that? I can't. Right here. That's them. That's who we're playing. So in assists. That didn't work when you click on other ones. That's fine. They are down in assists. Down there in power play points. So I should be fine versus them in points. It'll be tough. It'll be tougher in these peripherals, it looks like. They're not super far off from peripherals. In blocks, it looks like they have me pretty well in blocks, so I probably shouldn't target blocks specifically, but if I'm close, I could probably make it up. And if we take a look at the player list of who's available, the number one person, of course, that I'd target if I need blocks is Nikita Zaitsev, who has those off nights. He could be a pretty good grab. The issue right now with my team is I don't know who I'd drop. Hischier might be a good candidate to drop, especially if Zibanejad is out. I would think about picking up a Zaitsev for Hischier potentially. So he's my drop candidate of the week, most likely. Everybody else I really like, and then I want to keep Strome to continue to see what he does if they continue to play him on that line with Panarin, even when Zibanejad comes back. Otherwise, who cares? I drop him, and too bad, so sad. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, so that's how that went. I feel good about this week. I think I can do pretty well. I'm in third at the moment, so I didn't really shift at all, but it's still really close to the top. I have 56. The number one team has 58, so this top three is really, really close. Dan, who's in second place, has a pretty easy matchup against ninth, as good as it gets. Plays that team that I played last week in fourth, so that should be a really close matchup and one to watch. It should help me. If they can split, that should help me be able to kind of get above as good as it gets. And last thing here before we move to another league. From a starts perspective, I have 51 starts at the moment this week. They have two goaltenders as well. Gibson and Rene are scary as hell, although they haven't been good recently, so that's good for me. I'm getting them on a bad stretch, hopefully. And then aside from that, we'll see if when they set lines, what ends up happening, because they have not set lines for the week yet. But I'm figuring this will be a much closer starting situation once they set lines. And I think I've kind of gone through it, and the only day I bench is Saturday. So we'll go through later in the week who I actually decide to bench or start. But that right now, I'm pretty happy with having 51 starts. Okay, so Hockrus ended up losing 8-2. Yeah, I got crushed. I got absolutely crushed. So it looks terrible on paper, right? On the screen here, it looks like it's a terrible, terrible loss for me. But honestly, I'm pretty proud of my team. He was first in assists, first in goals, first in power play points, first in shots on goal. Like everything, this was his best week by far. Like this was his best week he's had all season long. His team just went bonkers. I mean, look at Willie Nylander, four goals, 2 assists. Come on. Barkov, 3 goals, 2 assists, 15 shots. Nylander with 11 shots. Horvat with 14. McDavid, of course, the hat trick last night. Like everybody, even Dadonov did things. Like everybody that could have done things did things. His goaltenders got wins constantly. Had a 938, 196. Like there was nothing I could do. Absolutely nothing. And I'll take it. Like the fact I was second in assists. I was right there in PIMS. Honestly, not terribly far, but. Or not terribly close, but not terribly far either. Power play points, I did pretty well considering he was the top in the league. I think I did a third for the week in power play points, and in shots, I was also like third or fourth in shots on goal. So it was just one of those weeks where my team was good. My team was solid. It wasn't like an exceptional performance from my team, but it was good enough that usually I'd beat most people. And it was just in this instance, I came up against someone who was absolutely fantastic. And quite frankly, like I've said before, I'll lose like that any other time of the week. That's okay. I will happily lose like that on other weeks. And as far as I don't think I'm going to do a MVP of the week for this, because that's obviously Timo Meier. But let's do instead a disappointment of the week because I lost. And the disappointment of the week is definitely going to go to Nico Hischier, who I picked up for $5, only got me 2 shots on goal, 2 hits, and a block. And that's it. And he had a pretty decent schedule, so that's disappointing to say the least. Doughty at least got me PIMs and shots on goal and some peripherals. Nico Hischier did absolutely nothing. It was a waste of a roster spot. So that's pretty much all you have to know here is I got crushed by the best team in the league this week. I fall to 4th, but it's a really, really tight race at the top, all the way down to 6th. I mean, 6th has 55 points. The top, which is Brandon right now, has 60 points. So it is real, real close. Now, I'm not too bad, actually, this week. So I play the 12th place team, the last place team, which is nice. That should help me out quite a bit. Honestly, they sometimes set rosters. I think what they do normally is they'll just go and hit, like, they'll hit start all players. And a lot of times you'll see like good players get benched. So, and they also had like, Marner's still not on IR. John Klingberg isn't on IR plus. So like, we'll see. This may end up being a really, really easy matchup. And I'm not sure if I've set lines. Let's see. I have 47 games right now played. We'll see if they set lines because Marner, if they don't put Marner and, Klingberg on IR, then I'd get even more starts. As far as people to watch, James Neal's been dropped, which is a smart thing to do. I can undo this. I don't care about that. Tony D'Angelo is somewhat interesting. The other person that actually I would like to pay attention to in this league and just see what happens is Adam Fox as he starts to get better here. He's been playing good minutes, getting a lot of shots on goal. He could be an interesting option later if the Rangers get pretty good here or if they keep playing him a lot of minutes. As far as other than that, like this team has really bad. If we take a look here at the team stats, this team that I'm playing has really bad. Well, a lot of things, but they're the last. Where are they? They're right here. They are towards the bottom in goals. They're pretty competitive in assists. So I'm not great in assists. So assists are going to be the place where I think I'm going to have the most trouble versus them. In PIMs, they're at the bottom. Power play points at the bottom. Shots on goal at the bottom, kind of here, like they have 578 to my 643. I should be able to win shots. Hits, they're down there in hits. And blocks, I should be able to dominate in blocks. And that's why I thought about dropping Clefbaum simply because I have way more blocks than they do. But the problem is I could probably use him in another week. So I don't want to lose Clefbaum just yet. Brandon ended up picking up Chikrin, which was a little bit disappointing. But if I need assists or something, I can probably make a move for Hischier for someone. And if we take a look at like who on the wire has the most assists, like Johansson may actually be a really good option when I don't have to bench, or Connor Brown may actually be good just because of the minutes. I like that he plays Jersey and Philly and Buffalo, but that's not. I don't know. I think I like Johansson more if I need assists, which I do. But I would only get the 12th and the 16th. I think Nashville only has 2 games, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Nashville only has these 2 games. But he may be a good grab here for Hischier tomorrow. And then I can drop him for someone else. Like I could stream just that Hischier spot because I think that's the only spot that's droppable for me. I could just stream that Hischier spot. And just get max starts. So tomorrow, for example, I'd swap in Johansson for Hischier. Of course, Hischier would end up getting like 4 assists. Swap that in, and then like on a Wednesday, I'd pick up somebody else for Hischier. And I could just do something like that. I mean, Hischier plays Ottawa that day, so that's the only thing. Is like I get starts from Hischier, so it's not like I'd only be adding here. I'd maybe just be adding in quality. So I just got to pay attention to what's happened. But he's been just dead ever since I picked him up. Literally picked him up here, has done nothing. So I feel good about this one, playing the 12th place teams. This will probably be the least worrisome matchup of the week. This is the one I'm not going to matter too much, but I'll keep you posted on what exactly I do as far as Hischier. And other than that, honestly, I'm not going to drop anybody else most likely. Everyone else I think is pretty much keepable at this moment. The thing I gotta watch is when Grubauer comes back, because when Grubauer comes back, the person to drop is probably Hischier here, and I don't really want to drop anybody else. Clefbaum's the only other one that's maybe droppable. Okay, so big win in return of the backups. Went up to 5th place, ended up getting 102 points. Far below my projection of 114.61. Not fantastic. They also fell below their projection by quite a bit, so we both underperformed, which is fine. I think I would have won anyways, given certain things. And Ben Bishop ended up not playing yesterday, which I thought he would, so that was big. Not sure why he didn't start. He was listed as the starter. The coach ended up saying, I don't want to play him. and they ended up losing 3-2. So I don't know. Maybe they're just resting him for this next stretch. They do have a back-to-back here in Calgary and Vancouver, so I don't know, but sure. And as far as MVP of the week, that's got to be Alexander Barkov. 14.6 points, 3 goals, 2 assists, 15 shots on goal. Huge performance from him. David Pastrnak, of course, continues to light it up. Jaden Schwartz continues to be really, really good, actually. He was the 3rd best from a points perspective, not counting goaltenders. Carey Price was good. Bobrovsky actually stayed in the positive with 1 point on the week. So he's been solid, not fantastic, but solid. Very hit or miss at times. Given like a week-to-week perspective, he's hit or miss. As a whole, he's definitely been better these last few games. So got the win. That was good. Today's my first day with Jacob Trouba, who I ended up picking up. John Klingberg was dropped, which is massive. If someone doesn't pick him up off waivers, I will be shocked. So we're just going to put in a claim right now for John Klingberg, and you can put him straight into IR plus. Someone will pick him up. I'm last waiver. If someone doesn't do this, I'll be floored. That's crazy that he was dropped. So there you go. You get to see that in real time. So I picked up Jacob Trouba. Jacob Trouba, you see, the thing is, so Jacob Trouba is ranked really low. He's hasn't been great. He's 202. But the thing the thing I like about Jacob Trouba is his floor. He normally gets such good peripherals. His average is fantastic. Just from a floor perspective, he has a good floor. If you're getting me a 1.4 points per night as a defenseman, I'm happy with that. And there's upside later on for him to get top power play or start being offensive. And once he does start to get points, you're going to see those points skyrocket up. You're going to start to see these here, which is 3.6, 3.2, which this is like a goal pretty much for a forward. But he gets so many peripherals that just an assist and his peripherals get him the equivalent of a goal, which is awesome. So I'll take that floor that he gives me in peripherals all day and hope it turns into something. I think this week the person to drop most likely will end up being Justin Schultz. Holden Oates is in 8th place, has a projection of 78.6, but I don't think they've set lines yet. Yeah, they have not set lines. Trocheck is still here on the bench. So once they set lines, we'll get a better idea of the projections and see how we think we'll do. But if this projection ends up being close, I may end up going and streaming goaltenders instead of streaming skaters, just for upside. So that's a possibility of something I'll do. I'm not positive that I'll do that, but I may. Yeah, other than that, I like where my team is at. Timo Meier is doing really well. He's 168th now, which is, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get into that top 50, but that's okay. I'm not worried there. Jaden Schwartz is still doing really well. Kyle Connor did nothing this last game, but did a lot before that, so I can't complain. Dougie Hamilton continues to shoot. So this week I'm looking good from a starts perspective alone. I'm pretty low in starts. I have 42. They haven't set lines and they have 34. But I have goaltenders going. So really what I'm looking at here is that most likely what I'm going to need is I'm going to need big games for my goaltenders. You can make up in a points league that favors goaltenders. You can make up a start gap for sure, but what you're gonna need is you're going to need your goaltenders to come up big. That's absolutely what you're gonna need, and that's what I'm gonna need this week from my goaltenders. And Bobrovsky has a somewhat easy schedule. Well, actually, he doesn't. He has Boston, Winnipeg, and the Rangers. Yikes! So we're benching him versus Boston, that's for sure. Markstrom has Nashville, Dallas, and Colorado. Carey Price has Columbus and Washington. Man, I do not have a good schedule this week for goaltenders. That's not great. Yikes. Well, that should be interesting. I'll definitely be benching Bobrovsky versus Boston. That's 100% going to happen. Watch him get a shutout that game. That's totally what's going to happen. And then I have some benching to do, which is annoying this week, but we'll talk about all that as it comes up. So I think it'll be a good week. I think it's going to be some close matchups. I think my points league, I think ECFHL, the keeper league, will be really close. Hockrus is the one I think where I shouldn't have too much trouble. I'll be really, really disappointed if I lose that one, and I think I want to go for the sweep in that one. At least that's what I'm going to hope for. Maybe not get wins, but I can at least try to compete in goals against average, save percentage, all skater stats I should be able to take. And then the other ones should be really close. So you'll have to pay attention to who I pick up for that and how they go. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the middle of the week for these, and also let me know what you think and let me know how your leagues are going. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.